Last week in Singapore, I prepped my vehicle, discovered an amazing machine that turns waste cooking oil into biodiesel, and set off towards Malaysia. I thought the trip ahead would be smooth.
I'm running out of fuel!
But I've been proven very wrong.
Fill my tank. Please fill my tank.
I'm on a green mission from Singapore to an orphanage in Cambodia. They have no reliable energy supply, but I found a machine that can make a huge difference to their lives. It converts used cooking oil to biofuel, and to prove it can work, I'm going to power my car with biofuel and drive over 2,000 kilometers to Cambodia, converting oil along the way. I won't just be buying dinner, I'm going to be asking for the oil it was cooked in to fill my tank.
So I've just passed through the Singapore-Malaysia border and I'm getting really psyched about the trip now. On the left over here you can see a palm oil plantation, and that's really no surprise because the palm oil industry is the backbone of economic development in this country.
An astonishing 5 million hectares, or 15% of Malaysia's land, is dedicated to oil palm plantations, making Malaysia one of the largest producers of palm oil in the world. This incredibly versatile fruit produces oil for a huge range of food and cosmetic products, but it is increasingly being grown as a significant source of biofuel. The industry provides employment for more than 1 million Malaysians, including Mr. Han, the plantation manager at Sri Gunung Pulai.
This is a palm husk, and that's used to create biofuels. So after refinement, that goes into diesel engines, such as my car over there. This palm kernel shell is used for solid fuel, so that's used to burn fires and heat up water. And then in the middle we have the highest quality, the palm kernel oil, which is used for cosmetics and food. So when you're eating a Kit Kat, you're probably eating palm oil that came from one of these little things. Han, you're not doing a good job, huh? Are you sure you do this for a living?
Oh, this is very difficult, you know.
Yusuf seems to be having trouble bringing down the fruit, so I volunteered to gear up and give it my best shot.
Okay, right. So I guess this is for cutting the fruit, right? Okay. Gotta have my counter. I guess that's to count the number of fruit. Okay. Come on, baby. Let's give me my first palm fruit. Yay! Yay! Beautiful, look at these colors. So this is about 15 kilos, and it's pretty heavy and spiky. What's amazing is that from this, we can get about 3 kilos of oil, and that oil can be used for biofuels and all kinds of other products. So you can understand why Malaysia is going crazy for this. But while there's some great benefits of growing this fruit, there's some pretty big drawbacks.
Biofuel, by definition, is fuel made from organic, renewable sources, but not all biofuel crops are grown sustainably. Internationally, land for other food crops and forests have been lost to palm plantations, a situation that NGOs and governments are trying to address. A more desirable option is to harness biofuels made from waste oil or the byproducts of existing crops such as corn and sugarcane husks. That's what I'll be looking out for on my road trip. As I approach Kuala Lumpur, another problem becomes obvious. The economy here has boomed in the last few decades, and more money in the pocket has meant more people are buying vehicles.
Now, KL has a population of roughly 1.6 million people, but apparently there are 4.9 million cars on the road here. So that's 3 times the number of cars for every person.
Traditionally, Malaysia has been able to rely on its own drilled oil reserves, but some experts estimate that this supply will run dry as early as 2017. In spite of this, Malaysia's fuel consumption, like the rest of the world, continues to rise. Motorbikes and cars are big contributors to carbon emission levels in Kuala Lumpur, which are estimated to be 58% higher than the world's average. Without a shift to more public transport options or cleaner fuel, Kuala Lumpur will just get more polluted.
What's worrying me right now is my fuel tank. I've got about 20% left, and I've traveled about 500 kilometers in total. So I'm hoping that I can find a biodiesel fuel pump somewhere.
Just as crucial as finding new sources of fuel is actually reducing our petrol consumption. One simple thing that I've been doing to save fuel on my journey is to inflate my tires. That's right, inflating your tires to the right pressure can save up to 3.3% of petrol on your trip. That might not seem like a lot, but in America alone, which has over 250 million cars on the road, President Obama has called on Americans to pump their tires. An estimated 5 to 11 billion litres of petrol could be saved with properly inflated tires. Now that's a lot of gas.
Well, I'm down to about 5% now. So I'm gonna have to stop somewhere soon and park the car.
I started my trip from Singapore on a full tank of biodiesel, with the aim of only using waste cooking oil converted to biofuel to power my way to Cambodia. But 400 kilometers later, I run into a snag here in Kuala Lumpur.
Well, I'm almost out of fuel now, so I'm gonna park over here, I think. Come on. We can do it. Oh! Come on, baby. Don't run out of fuel! Oh. There we go. Damn it! No more fuel. Okay, come on. Come on. Okay. Maybe I'll go and ask this gentleman over here. Excuse me? Can you help me push it?
Okay, hey, can I help you?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fill my tank. Please fill my tank. So, this is not the situation I imagined that I'd end up in, but here we are in the middle of KL. I've got no fuel. I thought it'd be easy getting biodiesel in this country, but apparently it's not. So what I'm gonna do now, get the jerry can, go and do it the hard way. Jerry can. Do you have any spare waste oil?
No, I don't have really.
I'm looking for some biodiesel and I need some waste oil. Do you have any waste oil that you can give? No? I need your biodiesel. I need biodiesel. Anyone? Anyone have any spare waste oil?
So far, everyone I've asked has seemed perplexed that I really need waste oil. Some are even suspicious that I'm up to no good.
You have biodiesel? No? Oh.
If the world is ever going to use biofuel on a larger scale, some serious re-education is in order.
At Hotel Paradiso, there ain't no biodiesel.
Unable to find ready-made biodiesel to buy or waste oil to convert, I make a few phone calls to my contacts in Singapore,
Do you know anyone who can help me?
who recommend someone to help me out in Malaysia.
Okay. All right, dude, thank you so much. I'll let you know how we get on. Thanks for that. Cheers. Bye.
My contact directs me to Vinesh Sinha, a young eco-entrepreneur who runs Fat Hopes Energy, a company that collects used oil from restaurants and converts it into biodiesel. This man talks my language. We visit one of Vinesh's oil suppliers, Ken Lee, who owns a chain of cafes in KL.
Here's the cooking oil, the used ones.
That's grimy. So this is the waste oil from all your cooking. Smells good. So Ken, why did you start giving your waste oil to Vinesh?
Before Vinesh, it was some other fellas that are collecting used oil, and basically I don't know what do they do with it. You know, they might clean it and resell it as cooking oil. So instead of selling to them without knowing what they're going to do about it, I might as well sell it to Vinesh with slightly lower price but I know it's for good cause.
Hey Ken, I'm in dire need of some waste oil to convert to biodiesel. So how do I get this off you?
We go to one more location after this and collect more oil, and then we'll meet at the factory where it'll all be converted to biodiesel to power your car.
Oh, great, so we can actually collect this now, go to your refinery and make some fuel.
Yep.
Let's do it. All right, that's good. You want some of this? You want some?
Alright Sean, so you'll have to take this pipe out of here and stick it in that black drum over there where we collect all the used cooking oil that we unload.
Here we go. Yeah, you can really smell it. You can smell the chicken. Oh, it's quite putrid actually.
What basically happens is all the waste oil comes in looking like that.
So that's our waste oil from today?
Yes.
Right.
And as you can see, it's already settling on the top.
Okay.
You will have the gunk at the bottom and the oil on the top.
Right.
This is the oil after transesterification. As you can see, the glycerin settling to the bottom and you have nice clean biodiesel on the top. And transesterification...
Well, easy. That's another long word. Transesterification. I can't even say it.
Esterification with trans in the front.
And what does that do?
Transesterification is a chemical process used for converting oil to biodiesel. The waste oil reacts with a catalyst such as sodium or potassium hydroxide. Transesterification breaks down the molecules, forming biodiesel as a main product and glycerine as a byproduct.
That's the glycerin that comes out of biodiesel.
And that can be used to make soap?
That's
lipstick?
Yeah.
Could I use that as skincare?
You could.
Could I put that on my face right now?
No, I would not recommend for you to do that. Finally, this is the biodiesel that comes out after the esterification, transesterification, dry wash and wet wash. It's ready to go into your engine like this.
So I can put that straight into my 4x4?
Yes.
Can I propose a toast? Cheers.
After this brief explanation, Vinesh puts me to work. Converting waste oil to biodiesel seems like a lot of button pushing, valve turning, and meter watching. Here's my understanding. After filtering the food scraps from the waste oil, what's left is transferred to a reaction tank. To set off a chemical reaction, the temperature is brought up to 70 degrees centigrade, and a catalyst and methanol are added. The glycerine separates, and what's left is engine-friendly biodiesel.
Kids, do not do this at home without adult supervision. And what's amazing to me is that the actual technology is quite simple, isn't it?
Biodiesel has been around since the 1900s. And this process has been mastered many times over by many different people around the world.
This is very true. We may think we're being revolutionary by using biofuel, but in fact German inventor Rudolf Diesel, who created the diesel engine, ran it on peanut oil in 1900. During World War II, when fossil fuels were in short supply, peanut oil was often used in its place. With shortages and high prices set to loom over us again in the not-too-distant future, who knows? We may be running our vehicles on peanuts yet again.
So why is it only now that people are beginning to pay notice to this kind of oil conversion?
Because very recently only have we come to a stage where we call peak oil, where we're consuming more than we're extracting.
Right.
So that's the reason people have to look for alternatives. It's not that we're running out of fuel, but we're consuming it at too fast a rate compared to our extraction.
While I'm waiting for my waste oil to be converted into biodiesel, I thought I'd give the local cuisine a try.
What would you recommend? All this looks pretty tame. Quite rich, huh? I'm looking for something a bit more exotic.
Checking out the various stores, I can't help noticing the vast amount of oil being used for cooking. I asked some of the shops what they do with the oil. Apparently, it all gets thrown away. What a huge waste! They just don't realize how useful this putrid, filthy, greasy stuff actually is. They could be oil barons, fueling a clean, green Kuala Lumpur. I wake up curious about the bigger picture. With all its palm oil, it seems that Malaysia could definitely run on more renewable energy. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment have set me up with someone who can answer all my questions.
I think at the petrol stations they only pump 5% biodiesel. It's been very hard for me to find 100% biodiesel. Why isn't there more being pumped in this country when there are so many palm oil plantations?
Several reasons for this, but the primary reason is the price difference between fossil fuel-based diesel and bio-based diesel. And this goes back to the argument between whether we should use high-value oils as food or as fuel. And my take on it is that if something is useful as a food product, then we shouldn't simply just burn it.
Hang on a minute.
If something is useful as a food product, then we shouldn't simply just burn it.
That makes converting used cooking oil perfect then. Use it to cook, then burn it as fuel. Everybody's happy.
Can you imagine in the near future that this country will run purely off renewable energies?
It's actually technology that will answer that question, that ratio between reliance on fossil fuels, for which we will still have some very specific needs versus all the other types of energy that we could get from running water, from sunshine, from wind, from waves perhaps. I think that it is not unlikely that we'll be able to get a large proportion of our energy needs from renewable sources.
Do you drive a hybrid or do you run your car on biodiesel?
It's on my list. My next car is a hybrid. I don't drive a big car as it is. I've got a 1.3, but my next car is going to be a hybrid.
And with that, I think I have a much better understanding of Malaysia's efforts on the green energy front. Cruising in my biofuel mobile, Big Betty, I head half an hour away from the hustle and bustle of Kuala Lumpur to my next eco destination, a sprawling green reserve. This is FRIM, the Forest Research Institute of Malaysia, where Dr. Wan Azma Ibrahim is the leading expert for biomass utilization. More than 25 million tons of waste plant material, or biomass, from Malaysia's palm oil milling is produced each year. Tree trunks, palm fronds, emptied fruit bunches. She is creating innovative solutions for turning it into renewable energy and other useful products, a move that could boost the country's biomass industry by billions of dollars.
I've been driving through Malaysia and I've seen oil palm plantation after oil palm plantation. Apparently 90% of that oil palm tree is wasted as biomass. What are you doing to rectify that problem?
We try to convert them into usable products, such as for biofuel. You can help me.
Great. I've been putting on a lot of gloves so far on this trip.
Okay, this is the core logs of the palm trunks,
Right.
which has been taken from a plywood mill.
Okay.
So we will pick one up.
I got it. Oh, it's quite fibrous, huh? There's a lot of moisture in here. And I can actually smell sugar, almost like a fermented sugar already. What, is it fermenting?
This palm trunk is full of carbohydrates and sugar, and as soon as the tree is being felled, the fermentation process will start naturally.
By fermenting the waste from sugary and starchy crops, we can turn the sun's energy into a clean, renewable fuel. Who says sugar isn't good for us? The leftover fibers, stalks and leaves from Brazil's gigantic sugarcane crops provide 18% of the country's total energy supply. Half of the country's petrol needs have been replaced by sugarcane ethanol.
Okay, now this core, we put it into the shredder to shred it.
That shredder over there?
Yes, that shredder over there.
Okay, all right. Let's see if I can lift this. Oh, wow, Iron Man. I'm more like sugar man. Okay, it's not easy. Thank you. Sometimes you gotta be mean to be green. It's almost like a big pencil sharpener. Just sharpening the end of this tree trunk. We have all the flakes, all the shredded flakes from the core. I can smell the biodiesel coming. It's coming. So I take this out here. All right. Over there. Over here. So what do we do with these flakes?
Now we take all these flakes and put it into this squeezer here so that we can extract out the juice.
So it's actually very spongy and obviously there's a lot of moisture in there.
Right.
So this came from a dead tree.
Right.
That's remarkable because it looks like it's from a new tree.
Right.
Yeah. Incredible. And then out here, we're getting a very sugary liquid. And from this, we're going to generate ethanol.
Ethanol is a highly flammable liquid found in alcoholic beverages, thermometers, and of course, in fuel.
We're going to take this juice and further ferment it into ethanol. Naturally, there is already about 20% ethanol in the juice itself.
And that's why I can smell it. I can smell the ethanol.
Right.
It's from the fermentation. Huh?
The juice is comprised of about 10 to 15% sugar and also about 20% ethanol. Is it sweet?
Could I get drunk on this?
20% alcohol.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to try?
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So what we've seen here today, we've taken dead biomass, the oil palm tree, and we've converted that into bioethanol. And we're not using hugely advanced technology that's very expensive. It's all out there. So the question has to be, why aren't we using more bioethanol in our petrol?
The debate on ethanol is ongoing. Dedicating arable land to ethanol crops would impact food crops. For the US to make enough corn ethanol to completely replace petrol would require 95% of its arable land. Making ethanol from waste plant material is obviously the better choice, but isn't expected to reach commercial levels for another 5 to 10 years. However, with institutes like FRIM bridging the gap between research and commerce, there's hope that this will change. After my exploration of Malaysia's biofuel industry, it's time for me to hit the road again and continue my journey to Cambodia, where my orphanage friends await the delivery of my biodiesel converter. Next week, I meet Malaysia's indigenous people and learn about their sustainable way of life.